Hello guys, welcome to our music theory class. This is our third edition. Don't forget, in our last class we were learning about chromatic scale. We also learned about musical alphabet. We have been learning about how the notes are positioned on the keyboard. What's your favorite musical instrument? Is it a guitar, a keyboard, a trumpet, violin? Let's learn music theory so that we can understand it much more better. Alright, in this edition we are going to learn about musical intervals. Let's start with how notes are positioned on the keyboard, the one that we are using to make our examples. So our keyboard is starting from a white note and it's also ending with a white note, which means we have the first note, which is positioned exactly as the last note we have on our keyboard. Our first white note is C. The black note on top of it is C sharp. Another white note is D. After D, we have a black note on top of it, which is D sharp. After D sharp, we have a white note, which is E. After E, we have another white note, which is F. After F, we have a black note on top of it, which is F sharp. After F sharp, we have a white note, which is G. After G, we have a black note on top of it, which is G sharp. After G sharp, we have a white note, which is A. After A, we have a black note, which is A sharp. After A sharp, we have a white note, which is B. After B, we have another white note, which is C. So we had C to the beginning, and then we also have another C when resolving. So our first C, we should call it our root, because that's where we are starting from. So if we are also coming from A, remember it's the same structure, but we have our notes from C to C, right? Alright, now let's do our musical intervals. What is an interval? It's easy. Music interval is a distance between two notes. So if we have C, then C sharp, that's a distance. If we have C, then D, that's a distance. Black notes and white notes, they are all notes. Let's go! Our first interval should be half step. What is a half step? A half step is just moving from one note to its closest note. If we are moving from C by just going to C sharp, that's a distance, because C is another note, C sharp is also another note. So we have a distance in between, which is a half step. It's not a whole step, it's just a half step, the closest note to the first note. If we want to jump from C sharp to D, that's also a half step. Let's move in half steps. We have C, half step from C, it's C sharp. Half step from C sharp, it's D. Half step from D is D sharp. Half step from D sharp is E. Half step from E is F. Half step from F is F sharp. Half step from F sharp is G. Half step from G is G sharp. Half step from G sharp is A. Half step from A is A sharp. Half step from A sharp is B. Half step from B is C again. So don't forget that when we are moving to the right, as I said, that music moves according to the direction that we are using at that particular time. And then let's move from right to the left. We are having C. C, half step, we have B. B, half step, we have B flat. B flat, half step, we have A. A, half step, we have A flat. A flat, half step, we have G. G, half step, we have G flat. G flat, half step, we have F. F, half step, we have E. E, half step, we have E flat. E flat, half step, we have D. D, half step, we have D flat. Half step from D flat is C. So that's how we're moving in half steps. Our second interval will be whole step. Half step is just H half step. Our sign for whole step is W, right? We have whole step. Now, what's a whole step? A whole step, we will come from C to D, or C sharp to D sharp, or D sharp to F. That's a whole step. Now let's move in whole steps. We have C. From C, whole step is D. From D, whole step is E. From E, whole step is F sharp. From F sharp, a whole step is G sharp. From G sharp, a whole step is A sharp. From A sharp, a whole step is C. Now we are going back. We have C. Now we are moving from left going back, or from right going back to the left. We are descending. From C, a whole step is B flat. From B flat, a whole step is A flat. From A flat, a whole step is G flat. From G flat, a whole step is E. From E, a whole step is D. From D, a whole step is C. Let's have our exercises. It's time for the fun. Let's have fun right now. Let's try these same things we've done now, but we're now going to have our structure. We are going to use the same structure in all these exercises I'm going to give you. I'm just changing the first note. Example. We have, this is our example. Make sure you follow the structure. Listen attentively. We have C. Whole step from C, D. After D, whole step, we are going to E. After E, we are moving a half step, which is F. After F, we are moving a whole step, which is G. After G, we are moving a whole step, which is A. After A, we are moving a whole step, which is B. After B, we are moving a half step, which is C. Remember, we had C as our root, our first note, and we are also going to have C as our highest note, or where we are resolving. So in all these notes I'm going to give you, make sure they resolve on the very same first note we had. Let's try this same structure on these notes given below. We are going to have D. Write somewhere D. Whole step, put a note. Whole step, put a note. Half step, put a note. Whole step, give me a note. Whole step, give me a note. Whole step, give me a note. Half step, give me the first note again. We are now having D sharp. D sharp, whole step, put a note. Whole step, put a note. Half step, put a note. Whole step, put a note. Whole step, put a note. Whole step, put a note. Half step, put the very first note again. Now we are going to have E flat. Whole step, put a note. Whole step, put a note. Half step, put a note. Whole step, put a note. Whole step, put a note. Whole step, put a note. half step, put the very first note we had. Let's have fun. Write this and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Let's have more fun. I love you. See you in the next class.